Hi, I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. This is the November What is Happening and Why, where we cover all the big picture astrology of the month and how it pans out for us here on Earth. And the energy is shifting to volume 10. At the end, we'll wrap it all up, so you've got some tips on how to get through this crunchy month. If you want individual forecasts for your sign, let the AstroDice do the talking. I put out a video at the start of each month. And thank you for any support you can give. A like, a share, a comment or subscribe. Thank you. Here's the What is Happening and Why astrology for November 2023. Venus has been the star of the charts for the past few months, and she wrapped up her issues last month with the eclipse. This month, it's her lover, rival and suitor, Mars, who dominates the charts. November is all about what you want and how you get it. Mars is an agitator. He's the god of action, competition and war. In astrology, a Mars transit affects your strength and your physical energy, your focus, and your likelihood of getting into an argument or an accident. Mars shows you where you'll fight for something. If Venus is the goddess of love and attraction and shows you what you want, Mars shows you how to get it. Wherever you have Mars in your chart is where you have strength, and it's where you go after what you want. Over November, the Sun is chasing Mars in Scorpio. They're both masculine focused, brothers in arms, muscle and resolve. The Sun puts a light on the issue and Mars goes into action head on. This makes everything run at a higher temperature, more volatile, more reactive, more aggressive. Both planets are in Scorpio, where Mars is at its strongest. It's relentless and penetrating. It's also sexually charged and charismatic. Mars in Scorpio can use psychology and manipulation as a weapon. The Scorpio sting is razor sharp and it can fight to the death. From this, it's going to be really good to learn how to train your Mars. November will be a time of honing and sharpening your focus, drawing your battle lines and defining your intentions. Impulses are reactive, and with the Sun right there, any cracks in your vulnerability will show straight away. Your best weapon with this is authenticity and connection to purpose. And channel your strength from your inner self, your higher self, not your ego. Because Mars is physical health, November is a time to take action on health issues, especially hot things. Fever, inflammation, infection, allergies, blockages in your blood or in your bowel, and anger and frustration manifesting into a health issue. The thing to do with Mars is to learn to direct anger and frustration into a healthy outlet. Work the energy out of your arms and legs. Boxing, dancing, kicking a footy, swimming, gardening, they're all good. So is counting to 10. Breathing yourself back into center and doing mantras or affirmations to delay or prevent any impulsive overreaction. One way to see this is to see Mars, the ego, as a wild dog. And if it's not well trained, it's dangerous. Sometimes you need to take charge of your ego and put it on a short leash. Muzzle it. Train it to protect you without going feral. So get yourself still and tune into what your body is saying to you before you go into a full trigger alert. You might have to stop and ask yourself, what are you really fighting for? If you're justifying yourself, you're not centered. So let's kick into the month, and right off the bat, you'll get a vital key to where you stand. From November 1, there's a few days where you can cleanse away any hard exterior and allow a download of inspiration. Venus is setting off a magic connection with Uranus. And Vesta does the same thing with the Sun. This is a lucky time to be of service, to practice random acts of kindness and boost your positive karma bank. With Venus and Uranus, you might be attracted to something unusual, something electrical, technological, or futuristic. And Vesta brings you right down to the heart of the matter, where your spirit is kept alight, where the flame is always lit. Vesta in Cancer takes you to the space of the inner child and the essential seed of your spiritual nourishment. The moon also sextiles Chiron on this day, holding space and helping you integrate a new level of acceptance, a new solution, or a new conversation with your inner world. It's time to check in with your values. By the 3rd of November, any shift in perspective and acceptance gets a kind of inner thumbs up. Saturn, right here at the beginning of Pisces, has been retrograde, and it's slowly turning forward, bringing new structures and form as it emerges from that retrograde phase. And this is where that check-in with your values really clicks in, because Saturn is reshaping where your commitment and your responsibilities now lie. And over the month, Mars is going to test those new standards and boundaries. So you're really called to find that inner authority, that inner authenticity. Saturn turning forward in these days just after the Venus-Uranus trine. It's giving you a chance to rejig something that's out of date or it's lacked sparkle. It's also giving you a chance to adapt what's been blocked or inconvenient into a more flexible and multi-purpose arrangement. Something that's more aligned with what nourishes your soul than these external distractions. Week 2, in that lead up to the new moon, Venus moves into home sign Libra on the 9th. And the next day, Mercury shifts from intense Scorpio to optimistic, aspirational Sagittarius. It can feel like a weight is lifted off you and you're ready for some fun. Venus is bright and sparky here, and you'll be attracted to conversations that take you far away, either in your imagination or physically over distance. These 2 days are good for catching up with friends, talking through plans and exploring art and creativity, even looking at new cultures or being somewhere beautiful with a long view. Which brings us to the new moon on November the 13th at 20 degrees Scorpio. And here's Mars at 22 degrees. Mars is the activator, and new moons signal a new cycle. So you're being activated into a new cycle. And in Scorpio, it's kind of do or die. A hard choice or no choice but to regenerate. For some of you, this will come as a complete surprise. Uranus is 21 degrees Taurus, opposite the Sun, Moon and Mars. Uranus is the planet of disruptive change, and aimed at that Scorpio cluster, it's compelled to splinter through a wall of defence, shake up any illusion of security, and expose what's been lurking beneath. On a global level, the new and full moon phases are kind of dangerous, with the way Mars has been asserting itself into the picture. It's warlike, aggressive and retaliatory. It wants to take borders, claim possession and display its might. Uranus has a piercing effect, and in Taurus, an earth sign, this new moon phase could signal shockwaves through the financial market, cyber attack, rebellion, or literally the earth and the sea coming into battle and resistance. For example, an undersea earthquake. Neptune is 25 degrees Pisces, And it's in a positive aspect to Mars, also in a water sign, Scorpio. But in this case, too much water might not be a good thing. On a personal level, yes, slow down and shore up your strength on these days. The energy could be erratic, provocative and irrational. There could be a sudden change in plans that really hits a nerve and exposes a vulnerability. Or it could reveal someone else's motivation and ambition. The new moon in Scorpio with Mars at the helm initiates a purge, a release, or a grieving process. It requires deep honesty, peering into your own fears and excuses to see what holds you back. On the 17th and 18th of November, the Sun catches up with Mars and purpose becomes aligned with action, rather than having Mars leading the path with blind ego. It's also getting beamed at by Neptune, and this puts a spark of hope, a vision, an imaginative option to gel purpose and action together. A plan is starting to take shape, and the courage for it is being summoned. The Sun moves into Sagittarius on the 23rd, and Mars the day after. That shift towards masculine outward expression rather than reflection is quickening the pace. This build-up brings us to the full moon on the 27th of November at 4 degrees Gemini. And this full moon could splinter a whole lot of expectations. Gemini is an air sign. Communication, travel, links and connections all get a really busy workout at the end of the month. But we aren't out of the woods with Mars. It can't resist. It's got another hit, this time still supercharged with the Sun, opposite the moon. The moon reflects back what's been hidden in the shadows, or what's been hidden in plain sight. So this combo can bring about a confronting conversation, a truth exposed, a reckless gamble. The Sagittarian Sun-Mars combo is lightning fast. A flame can go viral and become a bushfire, and that applies to an idea, a spark of inspiration, or a burning passion as well. Under this influence, there could be more exposés about celebrities and social media. Full moons bring a cycle to a culmination, and in Gemini, you might be thinking that you're ready to release or disperse or even sever Gemini things like communication, travel, links and connections. But in late November, if you press send on that email, text or social post, you better make sure you mean what you say. A flame can go viral, and anything launched into the social sphere will get cross-checked by Saturn over here in Pisces, squaring the Sun, Moon and Mars. And that's a T-square, and it spells trouble. Saturn is about consequence, restriction and accountability, and it's been alerted to a loud noise coming from Mars and the Sun. This can mean force is met with resistance, attack and counterattack. There's a war on several fronts, literally. Saturn's in a water sign, Pisces, and on a global scale, it can mean that laws or borders change under this pressure. There could be travel disruption, cyber attack, or it could also create a humanitarian effort or highlight protections for the vulnerable. At the same time, Gemini's planetary ruler Mercury is also in Sagittarius, and it is dead square Neptune. This one really amps up that T-square theme. The chance of propaganda, misinformation, misadventure and manipulation is high. And this all comes back to being able to trust your body to let you know what's the right way to move forward or whether to step back from it. And this is how to train your Mars. It comes back to aligning yourself with that purpose and vision that you got a glimpse of at the beginning of the month. So let's have a wrap up. If we go right back to the beginning of this adrenaline-packed month, Saturn turns forward, while Venus and Uranus wake up your imagination, and the Sun and Vesta put you in contact with your deepest spiritual purpose. Acts of service boomerang good luck back to you and remind you what is real. This first part is the time to set your moral compass in preparation for some of the controversy that can unravel during the month. The new moon on the 13th is where you really feel that shift in energy towards action, and maybe you'll feel that with a jolt. There can be a shake-up in security or a breakthrough of inspiration, or both happening at this new moon phase. And it initiates a grieving process or hidden rage, a purge. If you're feeling that build-up of adrenaline, anxiety or frustration, channel it in this mid-part of the month. Dance it out, get creative with it, acknowledge it and respond to it before it gets you impulsive and reckless. Slow down and take care where accidents could happen. Remember, Mars can activate a health issue, so defend yourself. The full moon in Gemini on the 27th is a culmination. And there might be a releasing or a letting go, a severing of connections and communication. But ultimately you're doing this because your mindset or an idea needs a rejig. Especially be careful in this last week of the month of any hyperbole or boasty embellishment. Don't be hasty or greedy. Fact check everything with your conscience. Behind all the conflict and noise of the month, Mars and the Sun together want you to activate and fulfill your potential. They're hell-bent on it. But Mars without the clarity of the Sun is an obnoxious bully. The ego cut loose. Mars needs the guidance from a higher source. I will to will thy will. The decision is made by your authentic self or from a higher purpose. And Mars is brilliant when its strength, focus and courage is channeled through that filter. So when you will to will thy will, you're tapping into a place of true will, authenticity, and allowing that to light your way. So I'll leave you with this. Consider what I will to will thy will means to you. Think about what your gifts and talents are and how you can guide Mars to put them into action. I'm Meryl Key, and this is my Mystery School. Check my channel for more of my Mystery School stuff. Find me on Instagram at my_mystery school or on my website www.merylkey.com. And thanks for watching.